Welcome to another awesome Becoming Light case study. And today I have Danielle, one of my international students from Canada.
I feel fabulous being international.
And she's here to share her experience, strength, and hope. And to start off, what's your name? Where you located? How long you been doing hair?
I'm Danielle. I'm from Welland, Ontario, Canada, and I'm about 20 minutes from Niagara Falls, and I have been in the industry 24 years this June.
Cool. And you have your own salon suite.
I do.
Yeah. And how long have you had that?
I've been in this location for 9 years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And because you've been, in the industry for, a minute, what specifically got you interested in what Becoming Light had to offer? Because we had a really good call together when I first met you.
I don't know. It was a social media post that had gone up that I had so much going on in my life. And it was one of those ones where I was like, ooh, that's pretty, and scroll away. And, I had to pack and move and all things. But I couldn't get your image out of my head. And I'm like, there's something to this. I have to find this person. And so, and then so that was like, say, October. And then November happens and more life happens, because that's how it works for me. And so it was like compact. And then the beginning of December, because no hairdresser isn't busy in December. It's like, but my salon was closed at the time. So I had just moved. I had, one thing after another. And the day, and I remember it was December 2nd, I found the post and I'm like, I want to call right now. I didn't even think twice about it. I knew I had to talk to you or the person who put that post up. And it was one of the best decisions I've made in a really long time, both personally and professionally. It really, really was.
Well, now I want to know, like, what worked so great for you, or what do you love, or what does that mean when you say it's like the best, one of the best decisions?
Like the best. I've grown personally leaps and bounds. I'm an anomaly sometimes, I feel, because I need both the right side and the left side of my brain to be activated or interested or intrigued in what it is. And you hit all the marks. If it wasn't statistics, it was imagery, it was, the program itself, and I've got a lot of education in a lot of things, not necessarily like this, but this is probably one of the top 2 courses I've ever been involved with, how it's laid out, how it's presented, the fact that you have continuous enrollment. So you always have students who are brand new, like you were saying, like little mashed potatoes. And then you've got students that are halfway through and almost done. So it's not just you coming from a place of, I'm the teacher and I know the things and here's the stuff. It's you throw it back at us. And here's my people, they know things about stuff too. Here, let's throw you into, the Wednesday morning. Let's get your hands dirty. And I was like, but you do it. There were some days where I was like, I don't want to, I'm not ready. And you were like, okay, you're in room number blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, oh, fuck, I can't disappoint her, because that's me. Laser can't disappoint you. Because I just wanted you to think you became somebody that I wanted to impress, somebody that I wanted to, somebody I needed feedback from. And I haven't done something like this in a really long time, because I really, for the most part, I've been overwhelmed with everything all around me always. And I was accountable to you. I didn't want to let you down. because you also share with us as your students, your human side, your real
Yeah,
side.
it's important.
It really is, because I think the type of people that you're calling in are people who are exhausted, fed up, tired. We don't want to just be talked at. We want to be talked to like real people who have real feelings, who have really been put through the ringer. And people who still potentially question getting into their empathetic side and
Yeah,
actually working with it. And
100%.
yeah,
And I find that it's really interesting. It's such a great point that you're bringing up, because I think what's interesting is that, the Holistic Hairdresser Facebook group, right? There's like 800 some odd people in there, which is like bonkers to me, right? Like I remember when there was like just me.
there
And I was
should
like,
be more. There should be way more.
no, for sure. But I think about that, and I think that those people are there because they're curious, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's like a little part where they're like, this sounds cool, but like, I just don't know if that would actually work for me. I don't actually know that like I would have clients who would be into this. I don't actually know if like my clients would like go in on this. I don't actually know if like I could actually have a viable business model. Like it's really inspiring what they're doing, but like, I don't know if it'll work for me.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear like what your thoughts are, especially because you are like coming out the other side since December.
I really, I think because we do work on ourselves, it's not just learning technique, how to do hands-on treatment as far as energy healing goes. It's you holding space for us to do our healing. And I think that might have been probably the reason that I joined, because man, do I ever need help. But I think because I felt safe right away, that I was like, there's no, it happens when you are healing. We as hairstylists, I think we are people pleasers in general, and we want to help
Yes.
in general. And I think that, how can I say this? I think that what happens is there is so much healing that does come out of it for you personally, that you can't not want to share this, because it is innate in a hairdresser to want to share, to want to help. We're shares people. We're not necessarily sales people. We're shares people. Experiences and like the whole 9 yards. And I think that when it hits, it's like a thunderbolt, and you can't not want to share this kind of information, especially now in the world.
Yeah. We were talking about something before we decided to hit record and go for it. You talked about imposter syndrome, actually, and I think that that's so real. And I'd love for you to share, like, a little bit of what you were talking to me about before we hit record.
So I probably can't remember that conversation. So this is all brand new, not scripted.
About the case studies and the session work that you did for the certification.
So when it comes time to do that, and I think you'll probably remember the panic and the frantic. I was like, oh my God, I have to get this done. I don't want to be done this group. I need you in my life. And then I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. And you were like, you just need to pick some people. You just need to do the work on them. Even though we've been doing it every Wednesday, I picked people that I felt safe with, and people that I was like, no, this isn't going to work. It's not. She's going to be like, this crazy talk.
Totally.
And it worked. And I know, right? And then things started happening for real, like real physical things were happening. And in my head, I'm like, but you're not that good. You can't do this. This isn't for you. This is for everybody else. This isn't for you. And it's real until it starts happening, until the pendulum moves until you start feeling things that to the eye aren't there in your hand. Your body starts doing things that you are not in control of. And it's when it happens, that's the proof of concept that you kept talking about. And when it happens, it's like, a holy shit, this is real. There is no, you can't convince me otherwise. And the imposter syndrome is like, shh, get off my shoulder. You don't belong there anymore.
When we met, I think we both cried during our first call together.
I almost cried today.
Fair, empaths, right?
Yeah.
And I would love for you to share a little bit about what the results are for you, like big picture, because I know that there's a lot of family stuff has happened.
Yeah. See, now I'm already going to start crying already.
It's okay.
I don't want this out on the internet. No, big picture, this has given me the balls to be who I was meant to be in the world. Not just in the salon, not just in my house or my home or to my family. And most importantly, I'm proud of myself because I did it to show my daughter that you really can do anything. It's given me an opportunity to share with people I wouldn't have necessarily shared this side of myself with, and have them respond with, it's about time. And right, it's I personally have had a really tough go of things recently in the past couple years, like you said, and it reminds me that it's okay. I'm okay to have a human experience. I now have so many more tools for myself and for my clients, because I think everybody has stuff. And so this speaks, it's fantastic that, pricing's going to change and all this other stuff. But I think when it comes down to it, I got into hair to make people feel good about themselves. And I never wanted to be on stage. I didn't ever want those things. I enjoyed teaching one-on-one or to the people that were directly on my level. I didn't need a riser. And in this position in a salon, I have that opportunity to share everything I've been given to one person at a time and be that pebble in a pond where the ripples just continue out to the edges. So I don't need to stand on a platform. I can do my part from here. And I think
that's really important.
It's
actually important because that person then impacts the other people. So it's an enormous, role that you play, actually.
Yeah. And it's great to finally truly feel that in my soul, that I'm playing a part in the big picture.
That's right.
And that my daughter sees that I did something outside the box. I color outside the lines. I always have, but I've never actually talked about it. I've never, I'm not the same as everybody else, and neither is she. And now there's this, she's always going to look to me for direction. And I now am approaching her in a way that I never thought possible. Like, I didn't think I could love any more than I do right now.
That's amazing.
It is.
For those people who are watching, Would you do this again?
In a heartbeat. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. I was so upset when my like Slack was like canceled. I was like, oh, how am I going to contact her?
And then do you have a kernel of advice or anything that wise words that you'd share to anybody who's watching?
Wise words. I knew something like this was going to be asked, and I tried to find, like, I was like, what?
You tried to think about it?
Yeah, I really tried to think about it. What could I say to somebody? Like, what would I say to another hairstylist? I mean, there's,
Right. It's like
all
there's hairstylists who are like thinking about it. They're kind of like, I mean, it sounds cool. Like, I don't know. Or they're like, wow, it sounds really cool, but like, I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, just do it. Like just rip the band-aid off. Don't be a baby. I'm just trying to think like words of advice my grandmother would have given me. Well, words of advice like sleep when the baby sleeps. No, don't eat yellow snow.
That's great. Awesome.
Right?
On this note, um, where can people get in touch with you? Can you share your Instagram, please?
Sure, you can find me on Instagram at Sheer Nerd Studio. You can find me on Facebook under the same name, Sheer Nerd Studio, and it's SHEAR Nerd.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Danielle. I love you so much.
Thank you. I love you.
Mwah.